There is a yellowed piece of paper sitting in a box of old family documents right now that shows a monthly electricity bill from July 1965 for a 4-bedroom house occupied by 6 people. The total charge was $4.37 for the entire month. At first glance, this seems explainable through inflation and rate increases over 6 decades. But when you calculate backwards accounting for documented utility rate growth, that 1965 bill of $4.37 would equal approximately $38 in today's money, adjusting purely for inflation. The average American household today pays $130 monthly for electricity. That is more than 3 times higher than inflation alone would predict. The difference is not just about cost per kilowatt hour, the difference is about consumption. That 1965 household used approximately 420 kilowatt hours per month. Today's average household uses 920 kilowatt hours. We are consuming more than double the electricity for the same basic functions of lighting, refrigeration, and comfort, despite having vastly more efficient technology in every category. The question is not why electricity was cheaper in 1965. The question is what your grandfather knew about managing a household that we have completely forgotten, and whether relearning those practices could cut your electricity bill by 60% without sacrificing any genuine comfort or convenience. Right now, stand in your kitchen and count every appliance that is plugged in. Refrigerator, microwave, coffee maker, toaster, electric can opener, food processor, stand mixer, blender, electric kettle, and likely several others. Now count the devices plugged in but not actively in use. Most kitchens have 5 to 10 devices sitting idle, drawing standby power continuously. Walk to your living room and repeat the exercise. Television, cable box, game console, sound system, streaming devices, phone chargers, laptop chargers, and decorative lighting. Your grandfather's 1965 living room had a television, a radio, and perhaps a lamp. 3 devices total compared to your 12 to 15. Each additional device adds cumulative load. Each device in standby mode draws 1 to 15 watts perpetually. Multiply this across every room, and the phantom load alone, power consumed by devices doing nothing, accounts for 8 to 12% of your total electricity bill. Your grandfather had no phantom load because his devices had mechanical switches that physically disconnected circuits when turned off. Modern electronics never fully power down, drawing current continuously to maintain memory, await remote signals, and power LED displays that serve no function except showing you the device is plugged in. Right now, stand in your kitchen and count every appliance that is plugged in. Refrigerator, microwave, coffee maker, toaster, electric can opener, food processor, stand mixer, blender, electric kettle, and likely several others. Now count the devices plugged in but not actively in use. Most kitchens have 5 to 10 devices sitting idle, drawing standby power continuously. Walk to your living room and repeat the exercise. Television, cable box, game console, sound system, streaming devices, phone chargers, laptop chargers, and decorative lighting. Your grandfather's 1965 living room had a television, a radio, and perhaps a lamp. 3 devices total compared to your 12 to 15. Each additional device adds cumulative load. Each device in standby mode draws 1 to 15 watts perpetually. Multiply this across every room, and the phantom load alone, power consumed by devices doing nothing, accounts for 8 to 12% of your total electricity bill. Your grandfather had no phantom load because his devices had mechanical switches that physically disconnected circuits when turned off. Modern electronics never fully power down, drawing current continuously to maintain memory, await remote signals, and power LED displays that serve no function except showing you the device is plugged in. Let us go back to what a 1965 household looked like in practice, and why consumption stayed so constrained despite family sizes averaging larger than today. Lighting was minimal and intentional. Homes had overhead lights in main rooms and perhaps 1 or 2 lamps. Lights were turned off immediately when leaving a room because electricity was understood as a commodity you paid for by usage. Today we leave lights burning in empty rooms for hours without thought because the incremental cost feels insignificant. But 10 bulbs burning unnecessarily for 4 hours daily at 60 watts each consumes 2.4 kilowatt hours, 72 kilowatt hours monthly, 864 annually. At 14 cents per kilowatt hour, that is $120 per year spent lighting rooms nobody occupies. Your grandfather would find this incomprehensible. He turned off lights reflexively the way you lock doors. It was automatic resource management born from understanding that waste costs money. Refrigerators ran continuously in 1965 just as they do now, but the units were smaller and opened less frequently. A family of 6 in 1965 opened the refrigerator perhaps 15 to 20 times daily, compared to 40 to 60 times in a modern household, where everyone grazes individually rather than eating scheduled meals together. Each opening releases cold air, requiring the compressor to cycle and restore temperature. Modern refrigerators are dramatically more efficient than 1965 models in terms of energy per cubic foot of cooling, But we have negated those gains by installing units twice as large and opening them 3 times as often. Your grandfather's refrigerator consumed approximately 1,000 kilowatt hours annually. A modern Energy Star refrigerator of equivalent size would use 400 kilowatt hours. But your oversized modern unit with ice maker, water dispenser, and 3 separate compartments uses 700 kilowatt hours, and you open it 60 times daily out of habit rather than need. Air conditioning is where the consumption gap becomes starkest. In 1965, residential air conditioning existed but was far from universal. Many homes, including in hot climates, manage summer heat through building design, behavioral adaptation, and tolerance for discomfort that modern Americans would reject completely. Homes had deep roof overhangs, shading windows from direct sun. Families closed curtains during the day to block heat gain and opened windows at night to flush accumulated warmth with cool outdoor air. They used whole house attic fans drawing 100 watts rather than air conditioners drawing 4,000 watts. When they did run air conditioning, it operated during peak afternoon heat only, not continuously from May through September, maintaining 72 degrees, regardless of outdoor conditions. Your grandfather's cooling costs were perhaps $20 to $30 for the entire summer. Your cooling costs are $80 to $100 monthly for 4 months. The difference is not technology. The difference is expectation. We demand constant, perfect climate control. He adapted to seasons and managed heat through passive methods that cost nothing. Water heating follows the same pattern. A 1965 water heater was smaller, set to lower temperature, and served a household that used hot water sparingly. Showers were 5 minutes, not 15. Laundry was done in cold water except for heavily soiled items. Dishwashers were uncommon, and when present were used only for full loads, not running half-empty multiple times weekly. Hot water consumption per person was approximately 15 gallons daily. Today it is 25 to 30 gallons. Each additional gallon of hot water requires energy to heat. That 10 to 15 gallon daily increase per person in a 4-person household equals 40 to 60 extra gallons heated daily, 1,200 to 1,800 gallons monthly. Heating water from 55-degree inlet temperature to 120 degrees requires approximately 0.1 kilowatt hours per gallon. 1,800 extra gallons monthly equals 180 kilowatt hours, adding $25 to monthly bills purely from increased hot water usage beyond what is genuinely necessary. But here is the deepest difference that encompasses all these specific examples. Your grandfather operated his household with a scarcity mindset toward resources. Electricity was a purchased commodity to be used carefully. Waste was theft from the family budget. Every light left burning, every degree of unnecessary heating or cooling, every appliance running when not needed, represented money leaving his control. This mentality drove behaviors that minimized consumption automatically without requiring conscious thought about efficiency. You operate your household with an abundance mindset toward electricity. It flows from outlets endlessly. The bill arrives monthly, and you pay it without analyzing what drove the total. You have no visceral connection between flipping a switch and money leaving your account. This psychological disconnection enables waste that your grandfather would have found morally offensive regardless of whether he could technically afford it. Here's exactly what you can implement immediately to reclaim the efficiency your grandfather practiced by default. Institute a lights off protocol. Turn off every light when leaving a room without exception. This single behavioral change reduces lighting costs by 40 to 60% in typical households. Most lighting energy is wasted illuminating empty spaces. Eliminating this waste costs nothing and requires only habit formation. Within 2 weeks, it becomes automatic. Unplug devices not in daily use. Kitchen appliances, chargers, and entertainment equipment that sit idle for days draw standby power continuously. Unplugging them when not needed eliminates 8 to 12% of total consumption. Use power strips with switches for device clusters. One switch controls 5 to 10 devices simultaneously, making it easy to cut all phantom load in a room when leaving. Set your thermostat based on outdoor conditions rather than indoor preference. In summer, set it to 78 degrees and use fans for air circulation rather than overcooling to 72. Each degree warmer saves 3% on cooling costs. In winter, set it to 68 degrees and wear layers rather than heating to 74. Each degree cooler saves 3% on heating costs. Combined summer and winter thermostat adjustments save 20 to 30% on HVAC costs annually. Run major appliances during off-peak hours if your utility offers time of use rates. Dishwashers, laundry machines, and water heaters operated between 9 p.m. and 6 a.m. cost 30 to 50% less than the same usage during peak afternoon hours. Shifting load to off-peak times reduces bills without reducing consumption. Reduce shower duration to 6 minutes maximum. Install a timer in the bathroom. 6-minute showers use 12 to 15 gallons of hot water compared to 25 to 30 gallons for 15-minute showers. The difference saves approximately 40 kilowatt hours monthly in water heating energy, reducing bills by $6 monthly, $72 annually. The time reduction affects nothing meaningful. You are fully clean in 6 minutes. The additional 9 minutes are habit, not necessity. Replace incandescent and CFL bulbs with LEDs. LEDs use 80% less energy and last 25 times longer. A home with 30 bulbs switching from 60-watt incandescents to 9-watt LEDs saves over 400 kilowatt hours annually, $60 at average rates. LED bulbs cost $2 to $4 each. Total investment is $60 to $120 with payback in 18 to 24 months. Clean refrigerator condenser coils every 6 months. Dirty coils reduce efficiency by 30 to 40%, costing $30 to $50 annually in excess electricity. Cleaning takes 15 minutes twice yearly and costs nothing if you own a vacuum and brush. Check water heater temperature. Factory settings are typically 140 degrees, reduced to 120 degrees to save 10 to 15% on water heating costs. Lower temperature extends equipment life and reduces scalding risk with no downside for typical households. Implement these practices and track results over 3 billing cycles. The average household practicing grandfather-era resource management reduces consumption from 920 kilowatt hours monthly to 550 to 600. At 14 cents per kilowatt hour, that drops bills from $129 to $77 to $84 monthly. $50 to $52 saved monthly equals $600 to $624 annually. Over 10 years, $6,000 to $6,240 kept instead of sent to the utility for powering waste that serves no genuine purpose. The knowledge did not disappear because it stopped being valid. It was displaced by abundance mentality and consumer culture promoting convenience over efficiency. Your grandfather paid attention because resources were understood as finite and waste was unacceptable. You do not pay attention because electricity seems infinite and individual waste seems inconsequential, but waste is waste regardless of whether you notice it. The 400 kilowatt hours you use beyond necessity cost you $56 monthly that could serve better purposes than lighting empty rooms and cooling houses to temperatures requiring sweaters indoors during summer. If this just revealed how 1965 households used half the electricity while housing more people in similar square footage, share it with someone whose bill has climbed year over year without explanation. Every person who adopts grandfather-era resource consciousness is one less household subsidizing utility growth through preventable consumption. Every home operated with intentional energy use is a return to practices that worked for generations before marketing convinced us that waste equals modernity.